Imagine a young girl, just 7 years old, convincing her brother to embark on a dangerous journey to seek martyrdom. This was Teresa of Avila, a woman who would later transform turmoil into inner peace. Born in 1515, Teresa's life began amidst the backdrop of Columbus's discoveries and Luther's Reformation. She was destined to navigate a world of change. Her father was a man of rigid honesty and piety, while her mother secretly indulged in romance novels. Teresa found herself caught between these contrasting influences. At 16, Teresa's father sent her to a convent, believing she was out of control. Initially, she hated it, but soon she found solace in her growing love for God. Choosing between marriage and religious life was a tough decision for Teresa. She feared both paths but ultimately chose the convent, seeking refuge from her perceived sins. In the Carmelite convent, Teresa began practicing mental prayer, striving to keep Jesus Christ present within her. Yet, for 18 years, she felt no progress. The convent was far from the safe haven she imagined. It was filled with women who had no other place to go, and the atmosphere was more worldly than spiritual. Teresa's charm made her popular, but it also led her astray. She found herself entangled in flattery, vanity, and gossip, drifting away from God. A severe illness struck Teresa, leaving her paralyzed for 3 years. Instead of deepening her spirituality, it became an excuse to abandon prayer. At 41, a priest convinced her to return to prayer. Despite her struggles, she began to experience profound spiritual delights. Teresa described mental prayer as an intimate sharing between friends, emphasizing love over intellectual thoughts. Her spiritual experiences included the prayer of quiet, raptures, and the prayer of union, where she felt God's overwhelming presence. Sometimes her body would levitate during prayer. She would lie on the floor, asking the nuns to hold her down, begging God not to give her public favors. Teresa analyzed her mystical experiences like a scientist, never seeing them as rewards but as ways God chastised her. Her biggest fault was her attachment to friends. God eventually freed her from this, making him the center of her life. Despite her profound experiences, some friends believed she was deluded by the devil. They sent a Jesuit to analyze her, who reassured her that her experiences were divine. One confessor, convinced her visions were demonic, ordered her to make an obscene gesture during her visions. She obeyed, apologizing to Jesus, who reassured her. Teresa believed that true spiritual experiences brought peace, inspiration, and encouragement. Without these effects, she doubted their divine origin. Facing hostility and gossip, Teresa often complained to Jesus, who reminded her that he treated his friends similarly. She resolved to be a good friend to Christ. At 43, Teresa decided to reform her Carmelite order, founding a new convent dedicated to a simple life of poverty and prayer. Her plans faced fierce opposition, including legal proceedings and threats from the Inquisition. Yet, she remained calm, trusting in God. Teresa believed in a spiritual life of love, not rigid rules. She valued work over begging and obedience to God over penance. When someone felt depressed, she advised them to see the sky and take a walk. She believed in balancing penance with moments of joy. Even after founding her convent, Teresa faced challenges. She believed that prayer should lead to action, not just pious sensations. At St. Joseph's, she wrote her autobiography, ordered by her superiors to clear her name. She used humility to camouflage her profound thoughts. At 51, Teresa expanded her reform movement, founding more convents despite facing natural and human obstacles. She was called a restless, disobedient gadabout by the papal nuncio and faced excommunication from her former convent. Despite opposition, Teresa's reform movement grew. She often had to enter towns secretly to avoid riots. Even help from supporters could be problematic. A princess demanded special treatment, leading to conflicts with Teresa's principles. In another town, they arrived to find their new house missing a wall. Yet Teresa saw these difficulties as good publicity. Her ideas about prayer spread throughout Spain and Europe, attracting many to her reform convents. In 1582, Teresa died at 67, having founded the Discalced Carmelites. She was later declared a Doctor of the Church, one of only 2 women to receive this honor. May God protect me from gloomy saints, she once said, embodying her joyful spirit.